first of all, we're a Christian family. So my mom lives right near us. My older son and his wife live we're all in the same neighborhood. Her dad's in the same neighborhood. And so our background with Allison is she loves Jesus. She would pray with anybody in the store. You look like you're having a bad day. Can I pray with you? No one ever said no except one person. And she said, okay, I'll pray over there. And she still didn't know how not to do it. But so she's our kid who was just super in love with God, in love with Jesus, led by the Holy Spirit. I mean, she kind of would put us to shame at times. And it's like, wow. My kid's leading this scenario here in a good way. And so Richard, her dad, continued to see that side because that's what she wanted him to see. We knew she was in trouble, steadily getting worse and worse. But again, I would see the true things going on because she was in my home, and he would see this other side of her. That was still changing, but nothing like I was. It kind of happened, a lot of changes happened during COVID when all the schools shut down, the kids were home, parents are working, and YouTube took over the world with what a teenager should be, and what's your sexuality, and what's your gender, and what is this, and what is that. And so all questions, my kid who was super spiritual and in touch, had also at the same time was very much remembering a trauma that happened to her. Instead of being angry at the person who hurt her and who stole her innocence, it turned inward. And little by little, that hatred became, she hated herself. And she felt guilty for telling, and she felt guilty for all of it. So I really started paying more attention. We had separated and we'd moved, and so there was a lot going on. And in the middle of all this counseling, and she started getting a little bit defiant. And again, you don't know what's teenager. She's turning into a teenager, or what is not having a clue at this point what the trauma was. But then cutting started, depression, nightmares. I know looking back it was gradual, but at the moment it felt like a light flip switched, because it was just night and day difference. And when it started happening, the beginning was very gradual. Once we got to a point where you could see evidence, physical evidence, it was super fast. She was hospitalized for a week. I quit counting cuts from here to here at 100. I was about here when I quit at 100, and her whole other arm was full. Took her to, by now we were with a psychiatrist. We'd gone counselor, doctor, psychiatrist. So took her back to the psychiatrist, and which was pretty useless. It was just drugs. He hospitalized her for a week. It was a week-long vacation in her mind, where she got to meet lots of other people who had cuts all over them. They had group therapy, none of which we wanted. We wanted her to have one-on-one, because in my mind she was just going to get new ideas, and she did. Because sometimes you think as a parent, I'm crazy, this isn't so bad. But then I look at her body and think, it's bad. We packed her up, we brought her here. And Lisa had already warned me it's really emotional, it's going to be hard. And I'm thinking nothing can be as hard as I just went through, nothing. So we came, we said our really fast goodbyes, like was planned. And just that last look at her when we left was horrible, because she looked scared and lost and sad and scared, more scared. And as we drove away, I just said to Richard, I'm like, I just left my kid with strangers. I don't know them. They were really nice when I talked to them when I was desperate. I'm not so desperate. I'm bargaining all the way home to just drive back and get her. And I knew not to, but it was really hard to leave her. It was really hard for her too. And I kept thinking, she's, sleeping in this bed and she doesn't know anyone. And, I just felt so guilty. But I also felt a lot of relief that she was safe. She's got her little bracelet on. We've got all the paperwork. She's safe. She's safe. She's not going to kill herself there. She can't be walking around cutting, and she's got to eat and stuff. So that was a relief. And then I felt guilty because I felt relieved, because like, what kind of mom is relieved that her kid's gone? But the change in her and her letters and her things, and now I'm getting my last letter that I got, was, thank you for bringing me here. And she said it before, but the way she wrote the last letter was just like, she was talking about the bandages and the testimonies and the things that were meant to harm her, and now they're healed. And I would go get 100 jobs and pay for it again if I had to choose again. And just to see her, she's back. She's back. She's healthy. I don't see her bones. And I know there's probably struggles still going on with things internally with her, because you don't get just like that, perfect. But her relying on God and relying on you all as leaders, and just everything, the church that you guys go to, and it's all feeding her and healing her, and it's amazing. I can't say thank you enough, and I can't do enough to, how do you thank someone for saving your kid's life? Because that's what you guys did. And because I have no doubt she would be dead at this point. She would be gone. And she has a big purpose. So